What up, YouTube? It's Aaron, your personal driver. And I just wanted to say hello, what's going on? It looks like we have Michael Uribe in the house. He says first, and indeed he is first. For some reason, whenever anyone says first, I feel like it's always a lie, like it's not actually true. like usually a person says first, and they're like the fifth or sixth person to actually be doing it. So I'm just checking on these live streams here to make sure that I am actually live. Okay, that one's good. And this one's good, looks like. Yes, so we're good on both channels. That's excellent. Dark Road Run in the house. What's up, Dark Road Run? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you in here. So, for those of you who are wondering what we're doing, it's been all over the internet. Everyone's talking about it. Every YouTuber's talking about it. It's on the news. Uber Frankie in the house. M Silver in the house. Deem Toombs in the house. Yo, what's good? He says. What's going on, guys? So I'm going to be talking about Uber's self-driving car killing a pedestrian in Tempe, Arizona. Now, before I start, I just want to say I got you guys. Anthony Jones in the house. So a lot of people have been giving me shit online because they know I'm a big proponent of self-driving cars. And like, I knew this would happen. I knew this happened. What do you think about this, Aaron? Ryan Reed's in the house. What's up, Ryan? Is this your first time in here, buddy? I don't remember. You might be here. Maybe I'm forgetting you, but I usually know my regulars. It's good to see you, bud. Ryan, if this is your first time here, go ahead and hit subscribe down below and make sure you become part of the empire that is your personal driver. But Gear Grimm's Grud, is that how you say that? In the house. I'm saying that wrong. Gayir. Already subscribed. Cool, Ryan. I'm sorry I didn't remember you. I try to remember all my subscribers. So I apologize. I didn't see that very much. But anyway, so we got lots to talk about. And let's get to it here. Let me switch to this mode here. That's what we want to do. Okay, good. It's all here. So this is what everyone is talking about, what everyone has been sending to my email and my Twitter account. Uber's self-driving car kills pedestrian in first fatal autonomous crash. First off, I just want to say this is a giant lie. It's not true. It wasn't an autonomous car that killed the pedestrian. It's a semi-autonomous car. There was a driver behind the wheel, so it's not entirely fair to say it was an autonomous car. But these are written to grab people, right? They're like attention grabbers. They don't want to be controversial, and so like, ooh, people are scared of autonomous cars. Let's grab the headlines. RIDESHARE 2K in the house. B mode in the house. What does that guy look like that? Why does that guy look like that? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, this guy. Oh, that's not part of the story. That's just a commercial. Whenever you're on CNN, they have a commercial for like other stuff they're doing. But Uber has removed self-driving cars from the roads following what is believed to be the first fatality involving a fully autonomous car. Again, that's not really true. So let's actually read the article. Yeah, it's just like the stuff over here. If you can see right above me, these are all advertisements too, because this is straight from the website. So a self-driving car, it was an SUV, killed a 49-year-old Elaine Herzberg and was, as she walked her bicycle across a street in Tempe. Now, if you have read some of the other articles, you'll know she was not in a crosswalk. She was crossing in the middle of the road. That's important to know for later, but just they left it out here. But this is the important part here. Rafael Vasquez, a 44-year-old test driver from Uber, was behind the wheel of the Volvo at the time of the incidents, the police said. So who gets the traffic citation and who goes to jail for vehicular manslaughter? Hold on, I'll answer that question, M. Silverhammer. One thing at a time. I want you guys to all know what's going on before we delve into it further, okay? Based on the preliminary information, the car was going 40 and a 35, so who cares? Police say the investigation does not show significant signs of the SUV slowing. That's important to keep there in too. So anyway, you can read this further if you want to. This is Dara. He just apologized and said there's incredibly sad news out of Arizona. Uber said it's fully cooperating with local officials, and our hearts go out to the victim's family. which that's correct. That's what they should be saying. But before we freak out about this, okay, remember, one, it's a semi-autonomous car, meaning there was a driver. Uber puts, a lot of people put actual physical drivers behind the wheel. So in cases like this, where the car does not pick up a pedestrian, the individual should be taken over. So now the rates are going to get reduced for paying for this lawsuit. Yes. Well, there should be a lawsuit. Wrongful death, probably. But it's the same thing as if a regular Uber driver were to hit somebody. I mean, there's a driver in the car who should be there solely to prevent this sort of thing. Now, before we freak out, let's go to this other article I have prepared for you. 6,000 pedestrians killed in 2017 crashes, new report says. Is this? Oh, this audio's on here. I can't turn it off. Can't. There. Okay. Stupid commercial. Commercials everywhere, guys. So what this is it's just showing you that last year 6,000 people were run over, pedestrians, in 2017. It's up 11% from the year before. So 2017. Sugar Shine in the house. What's up, Sugar Shine? Everyone say hi to my only Patreon. Let's give her some hearts. Hearts. Sugar Shine always interrupts my train of thoughts. I think it's her profession. That's all she does. Is whenever I'm in the middle of talking, all she does is interrupt me, so I can't talk anymore. There are some hearts for you. Should Arizona municipality who allowed this vehicle on the road also be held liable? No. That's what I'm just talking about, MS Hammer. Pay attention, buddy. 6,000 pedestrian deaths happen every year. And they're going up because people are walking distractedly. So this article says it's a 9% increase. I actually read it was 11% increase. So maybe that's incorrect. So before we freak out, one, there was a driver behind the wheel. So they could easily have stopped it if the driver was aware of what was going on. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what the investigation holds. Maybe the driver was sleeping. Maybe the driver was texting and not paying attention. But he is there specifically to avoid this specific instance from happening. So it wasn't necessarily a failure of the driverless car, but of the actual driver. And the second thing is, so I don't know, what's 6,000 divided by 365? 16. So guys, every day in the United States, a non-driverless car, meaning a regular car, a car with a driver in it, runs over somebody in the United States. 16 people a day. So let's not put this out of perspective. Oh, by the way, yeah, no kidding, RIDESHARE. Oh, Quaker in the house. Ideas to life in the house. What's up, guys? Yeah, no joke, RIDESHARE. That guy's fired as hell. We need some of those cars in my city. Maybe then bicyclists will follow the road rules. Well, that's the other thing I want to talk about. I was going to talk about later, but I don't like blaming the victim, especially because she's dead. It's really unfair. And her family's sad. I mean, that's someone's mom. Jose Contreras in the house. What's up, Jose? You're not too late. All you need to know, Jose, is that Uber's car ran over somebody in Tempe, Arizona. There was a person behind the wheel in the car who should have stopped the car and did not. So he failed at his job. And then we're looking at this study here. Last year, 6,000 people were killed by regular cars. Pedestrians were run over by cars. So that's about 16 people a day die as pedestrians in the United States. So let's not get too freaked out by one person dying just because there was a autonomous car there. There, you're all caught up. I live close to there. Yeah, I used to basically live in Tempe growing up. That was my place to hang out. Tempe and Mesa, which where all the concerts were and stuff. Yeah, I seen this morning. Yeah, everyone was blowing me up. So Ryan Reitz, how many Uber drivers have hit and killed people since starting? I don't know. I could Google that real quick. Uber drivers killing pedestrians. I don't know if that's going to be a study. These are all self-driving, so I guess that's not going to know. I don't know. I'll try to answer that question later. This is the same thing they did to Tesla when they had a fatality. Yes. Well, the fatality in Tesla was a little bit different because it was a person in the car. So here's an article I think that we need so you guys are going to know. So that's not true. I guarantee an Uber driver has ran on kill or somebody. I don't know. It's out there. Trust me. I can look for it. So those of you who have been watching me for a while, you know this. So this, if for some of my people who have been here for a while, this is just going to be repeat information. But for those of you who don't know, all driverless cars should be banned from public roads. 1.5, maybe, I don't know. So this is old news to a lot of you, but for those of you who are newer, Uber's automated cars drove 26,000 miles or something like that. I forgot the total amount. I want to say it's 26,000 miles. And in those 26,000 miles, not 1 mile could they drive without human intervention. Okay, so that's important. Look at this. Uber's technology is so far behind everything, it could not drive a mile without human in assistance. That's incredible. The tactile driver in the house. The pedestrian was a favor bike rider. I don't know what that means, but oh, the stupid commercial is always making noise. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so yeah, here you go. I'm trying to find the number on here. I read this article earlier, but yeah, here's the thing: they suck. That's important to know. This article. Uber doesn't know what they're doing, and they are so far behind in autonomous vehicles. Black car in the house. In California, it's been reported that 59 accidents that involved autonomous vehicles. I have an article on that anyway. She had her headphones on watching a YouTube video live stream from Aaron. Ouch, that hurts. Go Sugar Shine, ban driverless cars. Now I think they should, not because they're dangerous, but I just don't want them to take everyone's job. My favor in-app like Uber Eats and Caviar. Oh, okay. But I honestly think that, I don't like to blame the victim. It's really sad she's dead. But this biker was probably not doing what she should have been doing. She was in the road walking her bike, and she wasn't in a crosswalk. So, Kenneth Cooper in the house. What's up, Kenneth? So let's look at this. Oh, this is just another article for you guys. Uber's autonomous cars drove 20,000 miles and had to be taken over every single mile. Uber's driverless cars cannot drive 1 mile without human assistance. So realize how shitty Uber is at doing their job. Here's another article. Uber is 5,000 times worse than Google's Waymo at self-driving cars, according to, where we at, The Guardian. So according to driving statistics compiled by an analyst firm, Uber is the worst of the 6 major self-driving car companies in testing vehicles. I've been telling you guys this, okay? If you've been listening to the channel, if you've been following my Twitter, if you've been hearing me on Facebook, Uber doesn't know what they're doing, okay? The reason Uber will ultimately go down is because the lawsuit they had with Google stopped them from being able to be competent in the driverless car world. Travis Kalanick was an idiot who didn't know how to run a company, and he surrounded himself by other idiots who didn't know what they're doing. And the driverless car division in Uber is the most pathetic waste of money any company has ever had in the entire world. Uber does not know what they're doing with driverless cars. Once Waymo, which is Google, and Lyft came out with their driverless cars, they were miles ahead of Uber. Uber freaked the fuck out, because they realized Lyft was going to beat them to driverless cars, that Google was going to beat them to driverless cars, and that the whole reason Uber even started in the first place was they were going to be the tech company that bridged the gap between people driving taxis and driverless taxis. That was their entire business model. Lyft has gotten there faster than Uber. Google has gotten there faster than Uber. A couple of overseas companies from Japan and China are beating Uber to driverless cars, and then next year they're importing into the United States, and we'll start doing driverless cars here next year. Uber is last out of 6. So I told you this was going to happen about 7 or 8 months ago. What was going to happen is Uber was going to freak the hell out. They were going to put a product on the road before it was ready, before it was tested, before it was competent, because they're trying to leapfrog Lyft and Google and get that driverless car money. Okay, I told you back then, you can go watch the video, that Uber is going to kill somebody. I told you guys that then, because Uber is freaking out. They're losing 60 cents for every mile they draw in, right? Uber is trying their hardest to screw drivers and screw passengers because they're losing money. Uber has not had a profitable quarter in 2 years, and they've had 1 profitable quarter in 3 years. Okay, when you go 3 years and you have 11 quarters completely losing money where you haven't made a profit once, based on the fact that you're subsidizing those rides so you can get driverless cars on the roads, and someone else beats Uber to the driverless roads, you freak out as a company and you put a crappy product out there, and that's what this is, okay? Uber wasn't ready to be on the road. They were trying to compete with real competent companies, and they failed. This isn't a failure of autonomous cars because there was a driver in the car. This is a failure of Uber. So if you ask my personal opinion, I hope a wrongful death suit does include Uber, because I think it'll be relatively easy to prove that they don't have the technology to do this. They can't compete with Google. They can't compete with Waymo. They can't compete with Tesla. They can't compete it because they don't have the technology. They tried to steal it from Google, and they didn't even do that right. So just realize in this article how terrible Google was, okay? Of the 6 competing driverless car companies, Google is the worst. And I cannot tell you how much of a failure this is, okay? A total of 2,354 miles clocked up, and in that 20,000 miles, Uber could not drive 1 mile without a human being having to take over because their product is so incredibly bad. Like, you see those memes online, like, you had one job, bro? Like, have you seen those where it's like, you had one job and that job was to do thing A and you didn't do it right? That's literally what Uber did. Like, this entire division, imagine how many billions of dollars this division burned through, and they don't even have a car that can drive itself for 1 mile. You see these things that they have, like the Pittsburgh driverless routes, right? I don't know if you've seen this or not, but they have like an entire town, and it's just a test site for driverless cars. All of the things Uber's trying to do, and they can't get a car to drive 2 miles. They can't drive 2 miles without human intervention. Jeez, man. It's so embarrassing. So, but before you dismiss driverless cars altogether, realize that these other companies aren't having these same problems because they have a product that's actually good, right? But anyway, so let's go to this right here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to answer some of your guys's, let's go back to the main. I'm going to answer some of your guys in the chat. You guys have been talking. Uber will get their permit yanked. Possibly, they should. Their product isn't good enough to be on the road yet. Wait till it's exposed, then Uber knew the software was defective. Black Car, I completely 100% agree with you. That's what I've been saying. Uber knows their product isn't good. Investors know the product isn't good. This, the analytics done by this company know that the product isn't good. Uber has no business doing driverless cars. They're incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. Waymo is having the same issues. That's not entirely true. Waymo is having issues. That's true. They are having issues, but they're way better at it than Uber is. In fact, they've gotten so good at it that they're going to do true driverless cars soon. This accident will delay driverless car implementation for another 10 years. I don't think so, MS Hammer. There's too much money to be made, and autonomous cars on the freeway are basically the safest cars out there. Uber has freight going driverless right now, and it's going beautifully. It's the problem, the cities are complicated. But here's the thing, money speaks. So wherever the money's going, that's where it's gonna happen. Quick Road says they were testing it in Tempe. It was approved by the Arizona governor. Yes. Well, Arizona, for those of you who don't know, Arizona is a shithole, terrible state with like no government regulation on anything. Like basically, Arizona doesn't care if its citizens die. Like Arizona, like say, like I'm telling you right now, behind the scenes, like the governor and the people in the House are going to, should we do anything about this? And the governor was just going to go, why do I care if some 49-year-old died? I don't care about them. We need to make money. And so I'm telling you, Arizona doesn't care that someone died, and they're not going to do anything about this unless someone like the taxi cab industry or truckers or Uber outbids the driverless car companies. So whoever writes the governor's campaign checks in the largest amounts gets his support. It's not people in Arizona don't have like political views. In Arizona, it's like the wild, wild west though. If you want something, you just write a campaign check to somebody who's in power in Arizona, and they'll just do that. They don't care about people in Arizona. That's one of the reasons I left. That's actually a problem around the country too. It's not just Arizona, but it's particularly bad there. Black Car says, Renault is at level 4 in autonomous vehicles. Level 5 is the removal of the steering wheel. Yes, Renault is there. Waymo is like really close to being there. I keep forgetting that Chinese company. They're there. Lyft claims that they're there, but we'll see. I don't know about that. But there are a lot of good companies. Tesla's not even at level 4 yet, but they will be soon. The technical driver says, I don't think I would want to be a passenger in a driverless car. I would want to be nervous. So the tactical driver, I'm telling this right now, I'm having sex in a driverless car. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about the cleaning fee. I don't care if there's people watching. I don't care what happens. Okay. If I run out of time and like other passengers step in the car, I'm going to get an autonomous car. I'm going to have sex in that car. And hopefully it's a brand new car and I'll be the first one to do it. It's like the Mile High Club. It's just a box you got to check off of. And I'm really excited. I hope the technology hurries up and gets here, because I'm going to get banging in an autonomous car here soon. Dean Tom says, Aaron, dropping a bunch of knowledge. Thanks, buddy. Quick Rogue says, but what if the woman committed suicide? She was not in a crosswalk. Dude, here's the thing. Pedestrians always have the right of way, but who cares if you have the right of way if you're dead? I say that all the time, right? Like, people just walk into the road, they're on their cell phones, they're like, whatever, you have to yield to me. Yeah, that's true. You have the right of way, but a car who doesn't have the right of way will still kill you. Dark Road Run says, Uber wanted driverless cars. They're going to get passengerless cars. I hope so. I hope so. MS Silver says, crosswalk. Have you ever been to the South Beach? No one uses crosswalks or obeys a traffic signal. Yeah, I know. It's bad. You should definitely obey traffic signals. They're there for a reason. 6,000 people die every year from being a pedestrian and getting hit by a car. If you jaywalk at night in a dark area, you might get hit by a car. Yes. And you're on a bike. So if you're on a bike, you should be going with the flow of traffic. It would have been safer for her to be on the bike, riding the bike, and then signaling left or right, right? 33rd and Surf in the house. Sup, Aaron? My favorite channel still. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Much love, man. Uber Girl Paula says, hey, Aaron. What's up, Uber Girl Paula? Uber Girl Paula in the house. Black Car says, what scares me is Uber is getting into autonomous flying taxis. Oh, my God. I can't wait to have sex in an autonomous flying taxi cab. Oh, my God. That is going to be amazing. Man, it's probably going to be short flights, so it's going to be like, you're going to have to get your work done, like get in and out, right? Like, let's get this over with. Like, hurry up, get it done. But I can't wait to have sex on a flying driverless taxi cab. God, that is going to be so amazing. Okay. MS Silver says, Renault still in business. I don't know, it might be. I can Google it up. Let's look. It's a French company. Well, Bloomberg says they are. Where's this written? Yeah, as of January they were. Woo, 80 miles an hour with no one driving. Scott Martin in the house. Do it in a new account. Yeah, so there's no cleanup fee. Exactly, Scott. You might be having sex in a driverless car, but I don't think your wife will agree. I don't know, man. I don't want to, I mean, I know we're not supposed to kiss and tell, but I'll just say I'm a lucky guy. I married my wife. Black Car says, I bet kids will start a game called Tip to Uber Driverless Car. Same as tipping a cow, lol. That's actually true. I don't have the article here, MS Silver, but last year there were 6 driverless car crashes reported. And 3 of those had drivers behind it, so I don't count those. So then now we have three car crashes last year. Oh, I do have it right here. Self-driving cars in 2 of the 6 California DMV crash reports this year. So this is funny. So 3 of these don't count because they weren't driverless. There was a person in the car. But there were 3 I can't even say this with a straight face. There were 3 accidents where the cars were actually driverless, and 2 of those weren't really accidents. They were just people attacking the cars. So on January 2nd of last year, a Chevy EV that was being operated by General Motors got attacked by a man who ran across this is so awesome. Ran across Valencia Street against the do not walk symbol, shouting, and struck the left side of the Cruise's rear bumper and did body damage. That's so awesome. So yeah, more than 50%, 2/3 of the driverless accidents last year in California. Oh, you guys can't see the article I'm talking about. Let me change it. Here it is. Yeah. So here we go. See, so we had 6 crashes. 2 of them were attacks where people attacked the car, and then 3 of them weren't driverless cars. There were people in the car. They were just testing it, everything out. And so the humans got in the accident. It wasn't the autonomous car. So 50% of the accidents were human caused. Two of the remaining 3 were people attacking autonomous cars. And then there was 1 accident with an autonomous car. So that's funny. Let's go back to this chat here. Bruno Castillas in the house. What's up, Bruno? Quaker says, Caviar sent that bonus $12 per order on 3 orders in a busy area with no parking available at night. Nope. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I skipped some people. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, Lucin says, hashtag pay drivers fair. You goddamn right. Lucin, that's right, man. You goddamn right. And then Dark Rune says, that was me. Yeah, go attack the cars, guys. Go attack the cars. All right, let me finish my thought here. So here's another problem. Let's change it to here. This is a problem for Tesla too. So there's a lot of companies that need to catch up because LiDAR is an important part of the system that is being left out of a lot of driverless cars, or that is being implemented incorrectly into cars who are claiming to be LiDAR. So what is LiDAR? This is kind of like a human eye rendition of what it is. It's like sonar. You know, like that's the way submarines and stuff work. If you've seen it on TV, like they do a sound and it echoes, and then it creates a sound wave 365 degrees, and those sound waves bounce off of things and return sound waves back to the person doing the sonar. And so you can map things around you based upon the sonar. Well, this is the same thing, only it's with lasers. It's a laser technology. They send lasers out in 365 degrees, and in real time the lasers bounce off of stuff and come back to the sensor. So it's the integration of LiDAR into the driverless cars that will, I think, eventually make them more safe than human beings. The problem is it's super expensive. So there's a gap between where we are now and where the technology is going to be that's too expensive right now. And once that goes down, the LiDAR cars will doing it. So here's some things about the superpowers. They're just saying that for promotion. It's not really superpowers, it's just science. But continuous 360 degrees of visibility and instantly accurate and depth information, and that's the important part of this. You can see Uber here has one. I don't know what company this is. This looks like the Chinese version of it, but this was not the actual one that was on the SUV. The SUVs look different. This is what it looks like. These are little laser things going around there and spinning around. So here's a chart. See, look, here's what it's looking at. Here's a scanner. And then if you want to do math, here's how they calculate it, right? But it's operating at the speed of light, which is faster than your brain can work anyway. This is a GIF of what it looks like. As you can see, here's the car in the middle here. It's sending a 365 degrees of lasers around it, and it's giving real-time feedback as to what the world around it looks like to the car. Now, here's the thing about this is all good and well, but the processing power of the computer that the car needs in order to interpret this information and turn this information into accurate and safe navigation is where the big problem is right now. NVIDIA is currently the company that is people are going with in order to process the graphics and such like that. And people are fighting over AMD and Intel as far as the actual other chips that go in the car. But the computers aren't at the technology level yet where it can interpret these readings in real time quickly and safely enough. So that's what's going on here. So I already told you that this is what basically it's sonar. See, here's the receiver, here's the object, and it bounces off. Well, it's the same thing. And then I want to scroll down here so you guys can see this. So this was actually invented in the 1960s. In the 1970s, this is a map of the moon. Using lasers that were shot at the moon, we mapped what the surface of the moon looked like. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that they're using this for now is on archaeology. A couple of months ago, they found like this huge underground city in South America using the LiDAR detection. So that's what it is. And then this is a real-time interpretation of Volkswagen that went around one of those pretend cities, right? And you can see over here on the right-hand side, here are other cars going, other objects and such, that sort of thing. So that's what LiDAR looks like. But look, that's a lot of cameras for that to happen. So here, let me get out of here. So that's the final step, and we're not there yet. Once the technology catches up and the computing power that you can onboard on the cars is fast enough, and they integrate the existing LiDAR system with with the new LiDAR system with the existing cars that are operating in real time, it's over, man. Whew, it's gonna be good. Okay, let's catch up with this. Jose says, gonna be hiding with a bat and whack the shit out of the camera on the side of the car. It's like, it'll be like Terminator, guys, like the original Terminator. Once again, I'm gonna have to attack the cars. Blackheart says, what's your feelings on the union co-op for drivers? Yes. So Blackheart, first off, if you haven't subscribed, go and hit the subscribe button down below there, buddy, and join the team. But if not, you should watch the last live stream I did where I went into depth about Uber stealing from you. And I'm from Seattle, and Seattle is the only current union for drivers. I know New York has a co-op of sorts, but in Seattle they have a union. It's kind of tied up in the courts right now. There's a big legal battle, so we'll see how it turns out. But I don't believe any longer that we are independent contractors. Uber and Lyft have too much control. The way we're getting paid now, it's not in line with what I think an independent contractor is. You can't negotiate with Uber or with customers for wages. We don't have a contract that ends. It's terms of service. So all these different reasons, I don't think that we're truly independent contractors anymore. And when I started doing this job, I really did feel like an independent contractor, but not anymore. And because of that, I think that we should unionize to prevent wages from going down any more than they already are. But that's my opinion on that. I actually have a 2-hour video I did on the Uber union, but not very many people watched it. But it's in my history if you want to go look at it. He actually pronounced my name right. No PAX can thus far. Yeah. Well, hey, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Remember that. Don't give me too much credit. LiDAR used in police laser guns to measure speed. Yes, exactly. But it's a lot harder on a car when it's got so much stuff going on. You got signs, you got lanes, you got lights, you got people, you got traffic, you got turns. So, you know, lanes change from straights to turn lanes, from straight to dual turn lanes, from like on-head 2-lane traffic to double yellows. I mean, it's really complicated for a car in real time to use its LiDAR system effectively because of how much computer power it needs. Uber Lyft Tempe with Gavin in the house. What's up, man? I didn't see you earlier. Gavin in the house picking up drunks at night. Yes, grinding money out. Got to grind that money out. You and everybody else. Black Car says the co-op would be the same as what we started by union steelworkers, basically for independent contractors. Look, man, I'm telling you know what, I'll bring it up for you since that's twice now, since you brought it up twice. I'll find it here for you so you can. I'll put it in the chat. I did a whole long video on the Seattle Union. It's a little out of date because I posted it almost a year ago. But I have it on here. Let's see if I can find it. Man, it was a long time ago. And so yes, so my favorite example of independent contractors unionizing is strippers in San Francisco. Because let's be honest, I love strippers on anything. But these strippers, so the way it works, every state is different how they regulate the strippers. But in San Francisco, strippers are independent contractors, and they negotiate with the bars how much they're going to pay to the bar in order to operate and that sort of stuff. It's like if you're a really super hot stripper, you could say like, I'm only working Friday and Saturday at these times. These are the shifts I'm taking, and here are the stage fees I'm going to pay. I'm not going to pay more than this, or I'm going to pay you a percentage, or even the house is going to pay me, right? But if you're not as hot of a stripper, then you have to pay higher fees and that kind of sort of thing. But the other thing is you can also be a stripper at several different bars. You're not a stripper at just one bar or two bars. Like, you can work 3 or 4 places should you decide to. And so because of that, they're not employees. They're considered contractors with the bars. Well, that being said, a bunch of strippers got together and said, you know what? Fuck this noise. We're going to unionize. And they did. They did. They unionized, and so I think that is a clear example of independent contractors coming together to set fair wages for their industry. Okay, so here we go, guys. Put this in the chat. So here you go, Black Card. There's my video on the Uber union. It's a little outdated, so keep in mind, yeah, I did it on March 21st, 2017. So literally, I am 2 days away from this being a year old. So the lawsuits are a little older, and there are new lawsuits now. So it's not entirely accurate as of right now. Maybe I'll do an updated version of it later. But it's called, Does Uber Have a Union Explained? Or does Seattle have a union explained? And so there you go. Now you have it. No problem, buddy. But yeah, I think the union is a great idea. Stay classy, Gavin. I missed something that Gavin said, apparently. Wow, I just realized that I can use LiDAR or laser jammer like of the blinder to render a driverless car useless. Yes, yes you can. In fact, it's funny that you say that, MS Silver Hammer. People are putting indentations onto stop signs to manipulate the driverless cars into thinking that sign is something other than a stop sign, or a speed limit sign is different than that. So you can, at this time, manipulate cars that way. It's true. That's GPR, ground penetrating radar. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. See, I don't know everything. I'll admit that I don't know some things. We still need an infrastructure overhaul. Yes, we do, rideshare. I agree with that. So right now, Trump, it says he has $1 trillion infrastructure plan, and the Democrats came up with a $1.5 trillion, something like that, counter plan. So you have Trump having a plan here, you have the Democrats having a plan here. So hopefully somewhere in the middle of crossover here, we'll have an infrastructure plan to overhaul that stuff. That would be best for everyone, I think. Uber Lyft Tempe with Gavin says, we are sole proprietors. Uber provides the hot dog carts, but we sell the hot dogs. Not enough mustard. That's an interesting way of putting it there. He said, I used to live in Mukilto. I'm so bad with these native language names. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyway, Blackheart says, agree. I've been doing it for over 4 years. Okay, good. So yeah, you've been here for a while then too. Quaker said, someone added ketchup on the hot dog and it ruined it for everyone. Exactly. Dark Road Run says, I only strip for surge. That's a different kind of surge. That you don't get paid for that kind of surge. Well, some people get paid for that kind of surge, but you don't as an Uber driver normally. Who goes, Intel is building brain-like processors that will power robots of the future. Yes. But even those robots, here's a funny, as a side note to that. So robots in computers can beat humans in almost everything. Chess, any kind of game you can think of, you know, even diagnosing illnesses, computers are better than humans. Do you know the one thing that computers cannot beat humans at yet? Poker. Yeah. So the university had this big study where they had this program that was going to beat poker players, and they got 12 or 13 of the highest ranked poker players that play Texas Hold'em against the computer, and it found that the human poker players were 6% better than the computers were over time. So if a computer played a human being for like 100 over, say like 100 hands, 6 of those hands more went to the human players than the computer players. Because remember, in poker, it's not about how many hands you win total, it's how much money you win total. So even if the human players are losing more hands than the computers are winning, the human players are actually winning more money than the computers are. So poker is the one thing computers haven't been able to figure out yet. I'm sure they'll change that eventually. So Quaker says, I still make money on picking up a cup of coffee on Uber Eats than the guy who waited 30 minutes on UberEATS at noon. That's probably true. The fact that some drivers work, I think that's supposed to be work with an O, but work with Uber and Lyft, Postmates, DoorDash, Grubhub, it may render your employee theory a moot point. Here's the thing. I don't want to be an employee. I don't want to do this job. One of the reasons I like this job is I like the independence of it. I think being an employee would definitely ruin that. It would be terrible. But Uber basically treats us like employees, but pays us like independent contractors. And I just don't think that's very fair. Gavin says, don't play Texas Hold'em unless you want to lose. I was actually a professional poker player for about 7 months in 2007, going into 2008, and I almost always won money, so that's actually not true. I'm not that good at poker anymore. It's too hard to be good at poker. So Emma Siller said, wow, it could be cool to stand out on the road with a laser jammer and just watch driverless cars die and sort of like crazy. I'm telling you, it's going to get to be a point where it's like the Terminator, you know? The Terminator is going to come in and get them all. Get them all. We're going to have to blow up all the computers. So that's it, guys. That's my entire discussion on the driverless cars. Do you guys have any other further questions that you'd like to talk about? Go ahead and ask me anything you want to. I guess while I'm waiting for those questions, I could talk a little bit about my professional poker career. I've talked about it before, but laser jammers are legal and regulated by the FDA. Radar jammers are illegal and regulated by the FCC. Interesting. I did not know that. Go get those cars, boys. Don't do it. No, I shouldn't have said that. Now you guys are going to get arrested for killing driverless cars and blame me for it. This is not a call to action. Do not destroy driverless cars. But I'm just saying, I won't be sad if you do. So yeah, I went coast to coast from South Carolina all the way through the south to California on a poker tour. I had to play both tournaments, but I also had to play cash games because unlike these other professional poker players who had a bankroll, I didn't have a bankroll. So I had to play poker to eat food, to pay for gas, get a hotel room, and then pay for my buy-in at the tournaments. And for those of you who don't know, most tournaments you'll lose, right? Like if you win 1 out of every 3 tournaments, you're like a really, really good poker player. You could go a month without winning a poker tournament and then win like 2 or 3 in a row, and then it pays for the rest of the year. So I was grinding every day for hours. I had to make at least around $100 for a hotel room. I had to make probably like $25 for food, at least $40 for cash. So already we're above $300 in cash I'd have to make, and then a buy-in for the poker game. So yeah, I did that for about 8 months. I got really, really good at poker. I was actually heads up for an entrance into the World Series of Poker tour, like the $10,000 buy-in. And I had kings against 2-3 heads up to go to the poker player, and the 2-3 hit a straight and killed my kings. And so I was that close. I was kings versus 2-3 away from going to the World Series of Poker for free for a $10,000 buy-in. But anyway, eventually what happened is I hit a roof, right? Like I couldn't get past a certain point. These poker players are way smarter than I was. I wasn't new, so people started getting familiar with me and how I played, and they made adjustments, and I couldn't adjust to it. So like 6 or 7 months, and once I got to the West Coast, I was like, I'm done. Just gotta do something else. I thought I was a badass. It turns out I was only kind of cool, not badass enough. Okay, you think the Cubs will ever win a World Series? The Cubs already won a World Series 2 years ago. I think this year the Dodgers will beat the Yankees because 2018 is the shittiest year of all time. So that is the worst possible outcome I can possibly think for baseball, is if the Dodgers, because I'm a Giants fan for those of you who don't know, If the Dodgers won a World Series by beating the Yankees, I think would be the worst outcome for baseball. And so because of that, that's what I think is going to happen this year. Would not want to be an Uber employee or anyone's employee for that matter. No. Look, man, I don't want to be an employee. That's not why I'm saying this stuff, guys. I'm saying this stuff because it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real. Ben's in the house. Yes, you're late. You're only 46 minutes late, though, Ben. I'm not going to talk about all the stuff we talked about tonight, Ben. It's too much stuff. So you'll have to watch the replay, buddy. Anyway, M. Silverhammer. I don't want to be an employee. I don't like being an employee. I don't like the idea of it. But what I'm telling you right now is the way we're being treated by Uber and Lyft is we are slowly, incrementally going from contractor to employee. Slowly, little bit at a time. One change to the terms of service at a time over a long period of time. And it's not what I want, but it's the way it is, man. And at some point, being an independent contractor, one, will be a lie, and two, isn't going to be profitable anymore with Uber and Lyft. Like, here's the ultimate test that I ask everybody when we have this conversation, Emma Silverhammer. When does your contract expire with Uber? One. And part two of that question, when do you get to renegotiate your contract with Uber for a raise? And the answer to that is never. You don't have a contract with Uber. You have terms of service. So how can you call yourself a contractor if you don't got a contract? That's literally how nothing works. No independent contractor in the entire country is contractless. That's not a thing. And every contractor across the United States can negotiate for pay and benefits. So even if you want to call yourself a contractor because it feels better, that's fine. Call yourself a contractor, but you need a union in order to get higher wages and to get protections and to get benefits. Hey, man, I'm just telling you how it is. I always say on this channel, I keep it real on this channel. I may not be right about everything, but I give you the most accurate information that I have and the most real way to interpret the facts, right? And so a lot of people don't like it when I say that, but that's the way it is, man. In 2018, Uber is different than the way it was in 2015. I mean, that's just it, man. Like, you know, here, I don't know, man. It's a different world than it was, 3 or 4 years ago. And I think it's being dishonest to say that we're contractors in the current way it's operated. Like, here's the thing. In the last 12 months, Uber's raised their, what do they call it? I can't even remember. I'm having a brain fart right now. But the fee they charge the customer, the booking fee, they've raised the booking fee 4 times in the last 12 months. So once every 3 months, they've raised the booking fee. Did they ask anyone to do that? I didn't give permission for Uber to charge more to the customer without giving me a cut. So yeah, no. MSR says the URS, you mean the IRS. The IRS has a real arbiter and an independent contractor versus employee. They have a test. Okay, yes. And you do know that Uber and Lyft have both paid out worker misclassification lawsuits in several states, right? Here's the thing. There's no such thing as 100% employee and 100% contractor. There's a line. Like, you can think of it as like a scale from 1 to 10. I'm backwards because I'm on the internet. So 1 to 10. Okay? 1 being the most contractor you could be, 10 being the most employee you could be. And there's a gradient scale. So I would say Uber contractors were probably closer to like a 7 or an 8 on contractors, and then slowly in time have become more grayer and grayer and become more and more like employees. And there's like 12 or 13 mitigating factors that I could pull it up now. This has basically become a conversation between me and M. Silverhammer, but but whatever. It's fine. Okay, I'll switch this over here. See if this loads. Of course, it's not going to load because it's a government thing. Okay, so there are 3 things to consider if you're a contractor or not: behavioral control, financial control, and the relationship. Okay, so there's no silver bullet. There's no one thing that makes you a contractor or one thing that makes you an employee. It's a bunch of different things that they factor in together and they balance. And that's why they have courts and arbitrators and people who negotiate this sorts of things. And every state's different because every state classifies contractors differently. Like in New York and California, I almost guarantee you with like probably 98.99% certainty that we are not contractors in California and New York. And I know that because Uber and Lyft have paid out employee misclassification lawsuits in both California and in New York. And in New York, they've won the right to have unemployment insurance and they've won workers' compensation insurance. Okay, every state's different. So Florida is notorious for being really bad to workers. They're almost impossible to get a lawsuit in Florida going. You're an independent contractor in Florida. Also, that's why you're getting paid 60 cents a mile in Florida, because you have no protections. Anyway, behavioral control is a worker is an employee when the business has the right to direct or control the work performed by the worker, even if the right is not exercised. Behavioral categories are, okay, type of instructions given, such as when and where to work, what tools to use, and where to purchase supplies and services. Receiving the types of instructions in these examples may indicate a worker is an employee. Now, right there, Lyft and Uber violate this right off the bat. Literally every second of every day. You don't believe me? Let your acceptance rate drop below 75% to Lyft. You'll get a text message like that. You'll get an email like that saying, "Hey, stop it. You need to pick up people now. Your acceptance rate is too low." And Lyft will give you a little notice on your acceptance screen that says your acceptance rate is too low. They can't do that. It violates the rules. The degree of instruction, more detailed instructions may indicate that the worker is an employee. Less detailed instructions reflects the control, indicating the worker is less like an independent contractor. Again, Uber and Lyft forcibly make you take Uber Pool. So if you accept the first Uber Pool, they will continually add Uber Pools to you without your discretion. You can't decide whether or not you want to take the customer. You don't get a deciding factor on what their rating is. You can't say no. They just automatically add it to you without your indication. That's point 1. Point 2, and how Uber and Lyft violate this. I just lost my train of thought. Let me change what I was going to say. I remember now. About 6 months ago, Uber and Lyft changed their policy. And en route to a customer that you have selected, both Uber and Lyft can change which customer you have. If you have like a high cancellation rate on Lyft, it's because you'll hit accept, you'll start driving to that customer, and then they'll automatically change it and send you to somebody else. Uber and Lyft both do that. They don't give you any control. Evaluation systems to measure the details of how the work is done points to an employee. Evaluation system measuring the end result to either an independent contractor or an employee. So I'm not exactly sure what an evaluation is. I don't think that this is a cut and dry issue. You maybe could argue that the rating system does that, but I don't know. It's not a slam dunk here. Training a worker how to do the job, well, obviously Uber doesn't do that at all. If you're wondering why YouTube is so big, this is a big thing. This is what Uber says. This is what they say. We don't train them. Okay. Financial control. Does the business have a right to, this is important, a right to direct control or control the financial and business aspects of the worker's job? You have zero control over the financial part of the business. This is an undisputable fact across the board. Uber and Lyft have 100% of the financial control. You think I'm joking? go to a green light hub and tell the person at the green light hub, you look them in the eye and you tell them, hey, I'm not working for 85 cents a mile anymore. I will only work for $1.15 a mile. Go ahead and change it on my account. Also, I'm tired of you taking 25%. I'm willing to let you take 15% and see what happens. Yeah, see what happens. Go to Lyft. Go to Lyft. Sign in on your phone. Give them your phone number. Sit there in your chair and wait for your number to be called. Go up to the Lyft person and be like, hey, Lyft, I'm not going to take Lyft line anymore. And your cut's too big. I'm only taking 20%. See what happens. Let me know how that works out for you. Because Uber and Lyft exercise 100% of the financial control over the company. Now, you can say surge, but even they're changing that. The new surge system doesn't even base it upon anything other than what Uber thinks the customer will pay and what they want to pay you. So, like, go look at the Appertureur's video. He just did it. He just did a video on it. Uber took 81% of his surge. Of the total fare, it was a surge. He only got paid a small amount, 81%. Fuck that. Uber has 100% of the control. And that's, to me, there's no discussion. Like, that's the end of the conversation. We have no control over the finances. Obviously, now we're employees. Now, it didn't used to be like that. That's just the way it is now with upfront pricing. Upfront pricing, to me, totally fucked everything. And the relationship, if you want to read these are the things that Uber has strongest in their favor when they're trying to say that we are contractors. So go over these if you want to, because I think a lot of the relationship between drivers and Uber is more on that contractor kind of relationship, right? But I do want to say this. We have to have written contracts that describe the relationships the parties intend to create. Now, some people will argue that that's the terms of service, but that's not a contract because the terms of service don't apply to Uber. Uber has all the power. So, now I will say this: these are just baseline tests, right? The states flesh these out more. Some are harsher, some are more lenient on the interpretation of it. So state to state they change. But yes, the IRS does have a test that they write down guidelines. And honestly, guys, more than half of them I don't think they include that we're contractors. It's just not a thing. So let's see what you guys are talking about while I talk about this. Oh, so much chat going on. Okay, so where we go. Wow, you guys talked a lot, huh? Cool. Uber will state that they do not control our work schedule. That's kind of true, but I think the incentives might violate that too, right? Like, you can work anytime you want to, but if you want these bonuses, you have to work during these specific times. The IRS is the real arbiter on independent contractor versus employees. They have a test. Oh, I think we already did this. Yeah, I just talked about that. This might be the final nail after this accident. Oh, Patrick's in the house. What's up, Patrick? Sergeant in the house. You missed a really good live stream, man. I hope you go back and watch it. Uber Lyft Tempe with Gavin says, I prefer as it is to let me work whatever hours I want. Stop trying to become an employee. You will hate it. You'll become a taxi cab driver. Yes, I agree with that. Actually, in Seattle, I did talk to the Teamsters, which is the union there. And I said that they need to make sure they don't have shifts because drivers will not be part of the union if they don't have shifts. They didn't listen to me, but welcome back, Uber Girl Paula. Keep demanding unions and Uber won't mind making you an employee and give you a schedule to follow. That's possible. I wouldn't do it, but we do need to organize. We tried. I'm telling you, protests don't work because Uber drivers say they're going to protest and then take that sweet, sweet surge. Jose says, hey, what do you think about the restaurant in Oakland that refused to serve cops? I mean, I like cops a lot. I have family members who are cops. A lot of my friends in the Army are cops now. But, like, do you blame a city like Oakland, who's mostly minorities, from not liking cops? I mean, look, man. If you want to sit here and tell me that cops don't abuse minorities in the United States, like, I just can't look at you with a straight face. That's just not true. Like, I think it's bad business. It's like the mafia. You have to think of the police as like a legalized mafia, okay? So if you don't let them eat food in your restaurant, then they're going to basically allow criminals to rob you, to say, ha ha ha, I told you so, right? And in some places, especially in the South and in poor communities, they operate like a mafia. The #1 crime in the United States is an unwritten law. AZ driver in the house, and that law is you're not allowed to disrespect police officers. If you do that, they'll electrocute you, they'll shoot you in the face, and they'll take you to jail. That being said, I love cops here. They are awesome and they respond well. Maybe that's because I'm white, so maybe I have a different experience. But like, here's the thing: I'm not a female. I'm not a person of color. So my wife's a female and a person of color, so her and her family have a little bit of different take on the cops than I do. Cops have always been nice to me. I haven't been electrocuted. I've never been beaten. I haven't been shot. But that's not everyone's experience. And remember, it hasn't been 2 years since that cop got caught on tape handcuffing a black dude on the BART and shooting him in the back of the head execution style while he was in handcuffs. I mean, it hasn't even been two years since that happened in Oakland. So maybe they're still a little pissed off at cops. I don't know. So if they think it's a good business model, go for it, I guess. But I think it's a bad idea because the police are like the mafia. And if you don't pay your due to the mafia, they don't give you protection. So someone's going to rob that store and the police are going to laugh at them. That's what that's going to end. That's how that will end. Uber in Tempe with Gavin says people got rent due next month. Don't they think they want to protest and lose income for every week? That's an important point. So people forget that protests used to be illegal in the United States, and basically a second world war was fought. It was fought in the Pacific Northwest, in the Steel Belt, you know, Pennsylvania, Ohio, with steelworkers and stuff like that. What happened is when there was a strike, the community brought food and blankets and tents and paid these people bills. It was kind of like before the internet, but it was kind of like, you know how you have these different websites where you're like, you put a problem on the internet and ask everyone to pitch in like $1 to help you get to your financial goal. I forget what those things are called, but it was kind of like that. So people like, and really rich people who were supporting unions and stuff like that, they would like ship supplies to these strikers and pay their bills and stuff like that. So yeah, you're right. It's a big problem, and that's a problem when you're poor, man. That's why you don't have any power. When you're poor, yeah, you may want to go on strike, but you also got to pay rent and eat. So it's a legit sacrifice to protest. I didn't work this last weekend. You don't think I could have used that $500 or $600 that I would have made on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? I mean, everyone needs an extra $600 a month. So yeah, it's gonna hurt. We're gonna have to tighten our belts around here. But I wanted to have solidarity with the drivers and support their protest over the weekend. So I did it, and I took the hit. Good. I hate cops. Well, I mean, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings on cops. I actually, maybe I feel like it's my white privilege. Maybe I like the cops. They're nice to me. I got pulled over one time. If you guys remember, when was it? It was June of last year. I got pulled over on a live stream, and the cop was super nice to me, and he let me off even though I was speeding. So I don't know. I've had really good experience with the cops. Maybe I'm just spoiled because I'm a dude. Maybe, I don't know. Gavin in Tampa is right, she says. Okay, I'm quitting Uber to go to law school so I can sue Uber. That's my new plan. Ben, yeah, you should go to law school anyway, man. Even if you aren't going to sue Uber. Black Car says, are you aware of the federal lawsuit? Lyft drivers are being underpaid by the company. Yes, it's because of upfront pricing. They have a similar lawsuit here in California against Uber. It just takes, 5 to 7 years for these lawsuits to finish finally. And in 5 and 7 years, who cares? Uber is going to be bankrupt or a monopoly in 5 to 7 years. So whatever. UberEats is 73 cents per mile and 11 cents per minute in South Florida. That's just fucking terrible. I don't even know. Gas must be so inexpensive in Florida. Like, gas would have to be less than $200 or $2 a mile for me to even consider driving at 73 cents. It's mind blowing. Uber Paula says, I got a 16-minute drive ping today with 2 stops. Pissed me off. Hopefully they tip those bastards. I accidentally accepted an Uber pool ride today, and it was an express, my first one. Hey man, that's why you have a really high cancellation rate. You know, I always try to keep my cancellation rate under 10 to 12% for exactly instances like that. When you make a mistake, then you just cancel it and you don't have to worry about it. I'm going away. I got a ping from a bar probably. All right, see you later, Gavin. Have a good night, man. Go grind out that money. I accept on Uber and cancel. Yeah. Well, don't do it too much. You have basically 15 to 20% is when you start getting in trouble. So just keep your cancellation rate below that. You'll be fine. Emma Silverhammer says, every ride I took yesterday was at least 1.4 surge. So over $1 per mile. Nice. That's how it should always be, my friend. Otherwise, you should be doing something else. Like something else that pays more than $1 a mile anyway. $1.15. That's the goal, remember. I thought about it, Paula, but my cancellation rate is probably too high. Yeah, well, if it's too high, you gotta suck it up sometimes. Uber has published training videos. Really? They did? Huh. Who knew? I didn't know. See, guys, I don't know everything. I learned stuff just like you guys. I didn't know there were training videos. God, you guys are really talkative tonight. I should do Monday night streams more often, huh? Oh, Quaker Oats going to bed. Deuces, buddy. Have a good night, Quaker Oats. Darker One says, I wonder if Volvo will respond to the Tempe incident. No. That's like, if I ran someone over with my Volkswagen and I killed somebody, why would Volkswagen be like suddenly issuing an apology for the fact that I ran someone over with their car? Remember, Dark Road Run, 6,000 people die as pedestrians in the United States every year from car-related stuff. I don't see 6,000 apologies going out for all those cars. I said AZ driver in the house, but just in case, there we go. You got it, Aaron. They're the mafia. I was threatened by a cop today on YouTube. Yeah, so the #1 biggest crime in America, it's not even illegal. It's just an unspoken law, which is you cannot disrespect the police officer. If you disrespect a police officer, they feel they have the authority to do anything they want to you. So yeah, I agree. I think that highly happened. I didn't work either, and it took the hit. Yeah, me too. Sometimes you just got to work it out. Steve in the house. What's up, Steve? You're a little late. You're an hour and 9 minutes late, but I'm glad you're here, regardless of it. Nora Solomon is here. I don't even know who that is. Should I know who that is? Let me Google who that is. I like it when you guys are this talkative. It gives me stuff to do, man. Do you know how easy it is to run a live stream when this many people talk about stuff? Solomon. What? Well, that must mean, is that someone famous or something? I don't know who that is. There's a lot of people on the internet named Nora Solomon, but I don't think any of them are famous. Okay, white privilege, lol. I don't know what that means. But AZ Driver probably doesn't think that white privilege exists. And as a white male, let me tell you, it does exist, and it is fantastic. And it's really sad that I have so much more advantages than everyone else, but I do enjoy them. My son is going to be a U.S. Marshal. Eek. Hey, my mom didn't want me to join the Army, and I did. And so don't worry about it, Paula. Your kid will be a good kid if you raise them right, no matter what career they go into. So remember, bad cops would be bad at any job that they do. There are lots of good cops who are raised right by their parents. They do just fine as a cop. They don't abuse their power. It's just the ones that are it's the broken kids that get into that is fine. So if your kid is raised right by you, and I'm sure they are, he'll be a great U.S. Marshal and won't do any of the bad things that U.S. Marshals do. Go to law school, yeah. Maybe it's because you're not a douche and they treat you well. Just a thought. Well, I would be careful when you say that, because let's not forget that it hasn't even been 6 months since a dude got shot by a rookie cop to death in his car for simply saying, I'm a registered gun owner. There's a gun in the car. Here's where the location of the gun is. And then the cop just shot him. Like, he did it on video. We saw him do it. He was sitting there fine. Let's not forget, a white Australian woman reported a rape happening. And as he was talking to the police officer, saying, it's happening here in the alley, this is what I saw, a cop in the passenger seat just shot her in the face and killed her. An Australian woman reporting a rape to the police officer in her pajamas with no weapon was shot and killed by a cop in a passenger seat. So I don't think she was being a douche. I don't know, man. I don't think the other guy saying, hey, I have a registered gun in the car, he was being a douche either. So I don't know, man. Black Car said, I used to be in a union. I retired from the UFCW with 27 years. In the early days, people were physically hurt when they crossed the picket line. Yes. Well, good for you. I'm glad you retired. And good luck to you on your second career. So those of you who don't know, there's this thing called a pension. Those are magical money-making machines. Like, you know how people say money doesn't grow on trees? Those are millennials, because the generation before millennials have this thing called a pension. And that's just free money. For no reason at all. You just get free money from having a pension every month. You haven't done anything. You're not doing anything. You just look at your account and there's extra free money there from this thing called a pension. Well, we don't have that anymore. Uber certainly doesn't have a pension. And until you have a union, you won't either. And so good luck retiring, all you Uber drivers out there. I'll retire because I'm putting money away, but most people aren't. Gas is available for $2.37 a gallon in South Florida. See, 70 cents. I don't, whatever, man. Dano in the house. Dano also joined late. Dano's like, what the fuck is going on? This is not what we're supposed to be talking about. So yes, Uber training videos at the beginning of 2014, they suggested that driver wear suits and it was mandatory to watch. Oh, you know, now that you mention it, that I do remember those videos. There was one video too where they told you how to say no to getting a tip. I forgot. That's how long I've been doing this. I forgot that there were training videos at the beginning. Yeah, we used to sign up and have to watch a series of videos. And one of the videos is funny. It was like, if a customer offers you a tip, simply smile and say, thanks, but no thanks. I can't accept the tip. I remember watching that video and being like, fuck that. I was like, I'm not going to say no. Someone hands me cash. Fuck you, Uber. I forgot about those videos. You're right, MSN. Those were a long time ago, man. I wonder if they're still around. Those of you who are new drivers, could you tell me if you had to watch videos? Is that a thing that still happens? I forgot it even happened. Manuel Manchuca in the house. What's up, Manuel? South Florida, 68 cents a mile. Gas is $2.40. I made $1,200 last week. Worked like a slave. Good on you, though. I mean, yeah, it's hard, but good on you that you made that money. Just remember, you should be keeping track of how many miles you drive, because if you make $1,200, that's good. But if you spent $600 to get to that $1,200, I don't know. Uber Girl Paula says, have you seen all the videos on YouTube about not to talk to cops? Yes. Uber training videos are available on YouTube, on Uber YouTube channel. I'll go check them out. Maybe one day during the live stream we can go make fun of the training videos. That would be funny. Why are 3 of you live streaming at the same time? Lol, you, your driver Mike, and Ride with Peterson. Oh man, I didn't mean to do that. I don't like to stream during other YouTuber streams, so I'm gonna go over to your driver Mike and say, hey, I don't normally stream at this time. I just wanted to get my thoughts out about the deaths to the car. So I'm gonna go over here and say hi to him if he's still streaming. He's live, it says. Okay, I'm gonna write. Can you guys see what I'm writing? Let's see if I can make this bigger. Here. What up, Mike? Sorry, I'm streaming at the same time as you. I didn't mean to cut into your time. I'll watch the replay and let you know what is up. I am doing the same topic. You rule. Keep your channel going. Awesome. Okay. I'll give him a sad face. Where's the sad face? Again, sorry. Okay. I feel bad. It's not a rule, but generally speaking, YouTubers do the same thing on the same schedule, right? So like most YouTubers don't go live Wednesday at 1 p.m. That's like my time. And I don't know if this is normally a time that your driver Mike does a live stream. So it's a little bit rude for us to do it at the same time if we know each other. Anyway, that's all drama behind the scenes. I trying to do a collab with collab with Mike again. We've done 2 already. I really like the guy. A lot of people think he's boring, but I find his stuff to be really good. He has a really good channel. I'm paying $3.40 a gallon. Yeah, I've seen it up as much as $4 in some places. It's crazy in California. You should have stayed in the Army for 20 years to get an Army pension. Yeah, I mean, that was the plan. But, one, I had a really bad closed head injury, so I couldn't stay in. And 2, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but that's what my leg looks like. And it's on both sides. I can't know if you can see that side, but yeah. It goes all the way through from here to the other side. So yeah, no staying in the Army for me. You have to be able to run and stuff like that. I can't do that. So yeah, so there's no way I could do that. But yeah, I wanted to. I just sometimes life doesn't work out the way you want to. Dark Room says, I remember that tip vid, classic. Yeah, it was a long time ago. I have a pension with that union. I get guaranteed amount every month. Yeah, there's no reason why everyone shouldn't have a pension for doing a job. It's just, people don't read their history and they don't know. Corporations are making a shit ton of money off the fact they don't have to pay people anymore. Inception collab with Mike. Yeah, exactly. Rider with Peterson was doing his first ever live stream. Seems like a good guy. I don't even know. God, there's so many YouTube channels. I used to try to personally know every YouTuber. But now there's so many. I feel like I'm so far behind. Your driver Mike is a real part-time Uber driver with a 40-hour week in marketing. We can't relate to these type of drivers. Well, he did drive almost full-time in Pittsburgh. And it just, he moved across the country to be with his wife. He went from almost $2 a mile to 80 cents a mile. And Aaron get killed? No. Well, not everyone dies in the Army. Most people don't. That leg accident was in Alaska, right? Were you in the Army at the time of the accident? No. No, I'm saying I couldn't go back into the Army now because of that. No, I got kicked out for having a closed head injury. So I have a lot of head problems because I was a paratrooper, so I jumped out of airplanes, and a big just foobar shit house happened, and I got hit midair, and I woke up in the hospital like I didn't even know where I was or what my name was or what year it was, and I was like in the hospital for about a year, I think 9 months total, maybe 10 months, in a head injury recovery plant. You know, like the monkey test where they have like a star-shaped block that goes in the star-shaped hole, and like a square-shaped block that goes in the square-shaped hole, and like a circle block that goes in the circle hole. Well, I failed. Like I was, my brain was so fucked up I couldn't do the monkey test. I remember like doorknobs would really piss me off. Like I'd get to a door and I would know mentally that at one point in my life, like I could open the door. Like I knew that was a thing I'd done before. But like my brain wasn't processing, so I couldn't get the turning the knob and pulling thing. So I get really pissed off. And so yeah, they didn't let me re-enlist because of that. So yeah, I did do the Guard, the National Guard for 1 year because the National Guard gave me a waiver for my injury. but it wasn't the same. I mean, nothing against the National Guard, but I was like part of the 82nd Airborne, which it wasn't Special Forces, you know, it wasn't Rangers, it wasn't like one of those super elite units, but the 82nd Airborne Division is one of those, like, you know, prestigious units, and I felt a lot of pride, and I didn't feel the same pride when I was in the National Guard. I'm still in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and went to Palm X. Oh my God, 61 cents for a pool. That's terrible, Manuel. Jesus. I wonder if Uber will show the dash cam footage of what happened. Oh shit. No, they're gonna save that for court probably, but they have it. I wonder if someone will ever get their hand on that and release it. Well, Silver Hammer, yeah, well, I don't know, man. Well, if you're getting paid less, let someone know. Can you collect disability? So, brain injuries are hard to collect money for. Like, if you have a broken leg, you can take an x-ray of a leg. Brain scans are a little different. Like, unless you have CTE, right? Like the football player thing where, like, your head has been hit so much that your brain is degrading. It's hard to tell that you have mental problems. And like PTSD, they don't do like a brain scan of PTSD. You go to a therapist or a psychologist or whatever they call them these days. And then you tell me you have PTSD, and there's like a process for determining whether you clinically have PTSD or not. Brain injuries are harder. So I'm currently working on going through the process to receive disability. I wasn't going to do it because it's a pain in the ass, and honestly, like, I know people who have died. I have friends who don't have like limbs. I know friends who can't come out of the house because of their injuries, and I just felt guilty because I live a relatively normal lifestyle, and my problems with my brain are minimal, right? Like, I can still function at a high level, so I felt like reporting my injuries to the VA kind of made me like a pussy. Like, I felt like I would be taking resources away from other people who really needed it. But my wife is in the Army, and she got medically discharged because when she was pregnant, there were some complications with the birthing process without going into details, and the Army messed something. Oh, Dano Smith with the super chat. Give some hearts for Dano. Thank you, Dano. Appreciate it. Here's some hearts for you, buddy. Yeah, and I'll even give you an exclamation point. So anyway, my wife had some complications, and the Army made some mistakes in her. Oh, there's your dance music. There's a Dano Smith dance music. Yeah, go ahead and give some hearts in the chat for Dano. Appreciate the super chat. So anyway, my wife had some complications. The Army made some mistakes with the medical process, and so they kicked her out and are paying her disability for the rest of her life. Plus, she gets free medical for the problems that the Army messed up on. And through the whole process, I talked to some people in the VA who were very mad at me that I didn't report my injuries to the VA. And my wife is mad at me because she didn't know I didn't report them to the VA. So I'm currently in the process of working with the VA to gather my medical records and do all the tests they need me to do to determine what my state in my brain is. So the short answer to your question is no, I don't have disability, but the long-term answer is the VA may give me some sort of compensation for the injuries I received when I'm finished going through the process that I don't want to go through. So Blackheart says, I'm a vet here, 83 to 87 with the Air Force. Awesome. CAT scan for brains. Yes. But proving that you have brain problems with the CAT scan can be complicated because it's not like 100%. So, anyway, my father was in 101st Airborne, 59 to 62, was in the same company as Jimi Hendrix. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, my family has always been in the 82nd. My grandfather did some time in Alaska as a paratrooper. But the rest of the time he spent in the 82nd. So, yeah. I don't know. I liked jumping out of airplanes. But they don't actually know what happened to me. I mean, they don't record all of this stuff. So there's some conflicting reports as to exactly what happened. But the reports were that another jumper ran into me and our helmets hit. And that collapsed the chutes of the person above us. So for those of you who don't know, if you have a parachute here and a parachutist comes like this under this one, well, this person will no longer have what's called losing their air. So their parachute will collapse and they'll fall on top of the jumper. And so since I was unconscious from the other jumper hitting me, they think that this guy collapsed and hit me. So I got hit once with my helmet. So you have an ACH and it has screws on this side, and the strap comes down your chin. And when the first jumper hit me, it knocked this side of my helmet. My screws got snapped off and my helmet flew off. And then when this guy collapsed and fell on top of me, then I didn't have a helmet. And so when he hit me, it really messed me up. And there were also some reports that I might have hit the plane behind me. They fly 3, so 1 lead plane and 2 follow planes, and then there's like 3 total sets of those planes. So there's 9 planes on these little training missions. So I don't know. I don't remember anything. I remember waking up. I remember going to work. I remember getting on the plane, and that's all I remember. They never really gave me a definitive answer as to what happened, but yeah, I woke up and puked up on the doctor. That's the last thing I remember. I had PSD and could only get therapy. No disability. It's hard to prove. Yeah, Ben, it's hard for vets, man. You know, they like to pay all these money to contractors and to weapons developers and pay big bonuses for getting in the Army, but they don't pay real well when you get out, unfortunately. I wish they took better care of the vets. And that's not like a Republican or a Democratic issue. I mean, both political parties take a giant shit on veterans, so it is what it is. Cali Uber says, thanks for the service. Cali Uber in the house. Thanks, Cali. Hey, sorry about the March 15th cancellation. So Uber girl Paula said that she wasn't going to drive because of the protests. That's why I didn't drive. I forgot to talk to you. Sorry. Do I have your phone number, Cali Uber? I don't have your email. Email me your phone number so I can get in better contact with you. Thanks for saying something. Tony Stoll in the house. What's up? Black Car says, Dad got out early, shattered his leg on a bad jump, practicing a training mission during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah, I hear that a lot. In backs, too. Because if you land unevenly on your legs, and your legs go forward and your back goes this way, you can really crap out your back and hit something, too. So that happens a lot. But anyway, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up. Sorry you just joined, Tony, and I'm on my way out. But this has been a really weird live stream. We started talking about Uber's driverless cars hitting people, and now we're ending talking about my service in the military. So there you go, and everything in between. I'm taking last questions. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If not, I am gonna run and go. So I'll give you a couple of chances to respond. Okay, I'm out. Deuces, guys. I'll see you Wednesday. Been drinking? Yeah, you and me both, buddy. You and me both. Deuces.